So the forex market works, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, right? Now, this is broken down into sessions, right? Now, there are 4 main sessions. No, there are actually 4 sessions that you can trade, in the forex market, depending on the time zone you are in. You understand, right? So there is the Sydney session, there is the Tokyo session, which is also known as the Asian session. There is the London session, and there is the New York session, right? So the Sydney session is for those that are in Australia, right? This is when news concerning Australia comes out, right? The Tokyo session are those in the Asian session, right? And those in the Asian region. This is where news concerning China, Japan, and all the other countries come out, right? So depending on the pairs you trade, you need to know which session they work very well in because of the news that is going to be released, right? So if you are trading in the Tokyo session, then you should consider looking for pairs such as AUD JPY. Why? Because AUD consists of the Sydney session, and JPY for the Japanese session. So during that time, it's slightly volatile, right? You can trade it compared to trading a forex pair like Euro USD, because at that time there's no news for the Euro. There's also no news for the USD. You understand, right? So from there, then there is the London session. Okay, so the London session is when news concerning London or the England, right, or England comes out. So this is where you hear news of Great Britain coming out, news about Parliament, news concerning their interest rate, and all these things coming out. So now this chart you are seeing is a GMT chart. So London session starts from 7 a.m. GMT to 1500 GMT, right? London session starts from 7 a.m. GMT to 1500 GMT, right? And then from there you move on to New York session, right? So for the London session, some of the pairs, we are going to talk about some of the pairs we will trade right after I explain the New York session. So for the New York session, right, this is when news concerning, the US dollar comes out, such as, NFP, non-farm payroll, CPI, right, interest rate, FOMC, all these things, right? So those are economic events that affect the pair, which is the USD. So it is prime that you have, pairs with the USD in them traded during the US session or New York session. Okay, so these are examples of some of the pairs that work well in the London session. But in the London session, almost every pair works well. Why? Because there is a lot of liquidity, right? There is a lot of orders, all the banks, all the people trading. Everyone wants to trade in the London session. The Britain has always been the center for transactions, right? So everyone wants to trade in the London session. So the London session is always equipped with a lot of traders, right? So it's more liquid. Hence, that's why you get cheaper spreads, right? It has one of the cheapest spreads because there is a lot of people coming in the market. So it counts for it, right? So this is GBP USD, right? Now let's look for London session. I told you that the London session, according to GMT, London session starts from 7 a.m. right? It starts from 7 a.m. right? It starts from 7 a.m. So if you were to look here, you can see that this was in the London session, right? So if you were to catch this move downwards, you realize that that would have been a what? You can see it for yourself. That would have been a 200 pip move on GU with almost about, but no, the SL is not even, look, It didn't even go into drawdown, right? Right? It didn't even go into drawdown. It didn't even go into drawdown, as you can see, right? So this would have been a 220 pip move, right? And the entry came from where? London session. Okay, now let's look for another scenario. Another 7 a.m. move. All right, another 7 a.m. move. Okay, this is also another 7 a.m. move. 7 a.m. you can see, right? That's another 7 a.m. move. And you can see London session. How many pips? 50 pips. 50 pips. You would have had 50 pips with this move. You understand? Let's look for another 7 a.m. move. Okay, the London session is it's quite very simple to trade, because you know the volume is there, right? The volume is there. So when you are trading the London session, it's very interesting, right? But every pair can be traded during the London session. Almost every pair works well with the London session. Almost every pair, right? If we were to look at this one as well, we realize that this was during the London session as well. So if you put it here, just look at that. If you had caught this whole swing, right? I'm a swing trader. That's why I don't scalp. I'm a swing trader. So you can see that would have been a 100 pip move with absolutely no drawdown. Just look at that. Just look at that. Just a simple break and retest with absolutely no drawdown, right? Let's check XAU USD, which is gold. Now, many people have a misconception about gold that because it is paired to the dollar, then it means that gold will only move during the New York session. But this is false, right? And I'm going to prove it to you that it's false, right? Gold moves in other sessions as well, right? When you look over here, we can see that this was during the 7 a.m. So this was during the London session. And what happened? After gold broke this level, did a slight retest, it moved for 230 pips in the London session, right? It moved 230 pips, and the move was from the London. And you can see the drawdown is absolutely the trade didn't even go into drawdown, right? The trade didn't even go into drawdown. So you could have had an SL very low of our 50 pips, right? For gold, 50 pips is quite okay, right? Because if I'm a swing trader, so 50 pips for 200 pips, that's very fine, right? Now look at this move as well. Let's look at this trade as well. This trade as well was also during the London session, right? And this is 900 pips. You know, most people trade gold only during the New York, but in the London session as well, I'm proving to you that almost every pair can work, right? Almost every pair can work. Let's see if we'll be able to find another London session scenario where you have a 7 a.m. trade, right? You have a 7 a.m. trade, right? Bear in mind that the London session doesn't stop when the New York session starts. No, it merges, right? The London session starts from 7 a.m. and ends at 5 p.m., right? So even at 12 p.m. when the New York session starts, it is also part of the London session. It's the merge over, right? So this move, which happened at 12, will also be considered as one. And just look at that. Absolutely no drawdown. 200 pips. Absolutely non-existent drawdown. You can see absolutely no drawdown. Absolutely no drawdown. You can see. It just did a retest of this level. Break and retest. And wham. Absolutely no drawdown. And you can see it. There's not really any drawdown. Right. Now let's look at one of the most respected pairs out there, which is GBP JPY. Right. Now a lot of people like to trade GBP JPY. It has become the norm that as a trader you should be trading GBP JPY and gold, because I mean, GBP JPY is the only Forex pair. I won't say the only. It's one of the Forex pairs that don't behave like a Forex pair. It moves it's very volatile, right? It's very volatile. So let's look at it. GBP JPY. Most Forex pairs are characterized by, slow movement and wasting of time. But GBP JPY it's not like that. Right? So you can see these are some of the moves that were caught during the London session. You can see 7 a.m. Very simple break and retest. Right? Very simple break and retest. And the trade was also in no drawdown as well. Just look at that. Almost literally zero drawdown. Right? Almost zero drawdown. Look at that. This is also another trade. This is also another trade in the London session, and that was 100 pips. So this was 120 pips. This was 100 pips, right? So the London session is full of goodies, right? It's full of goodies. Almost every pair you can think about has volatility in the London session, right? It has volatility in the London session. So in the London session, you can trade a whole lot of things. Right, a whole lot of things. So if you also want to know the pairs that move fast during the AGN session, I have a link in the description below. Check out some of the pairs. Some of the pairs move very crazy in the AGN session, right? So subscribe to the video, like the video, share it with your friends, right? Share it with your friends, and let's break the misconception that London session is very slow and it's people like New York session is quite enjoyable than the London session, right? So thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next video soon.